Welcome into episode 100 of the Investor Guys podcast. It's Bill Barnett here. My compadre, Kevin Mills, is manning the board down in Miami at the moment, and we'll be jumping on here any second now with us. But we want to welcome you guys. This is a huge day for us. Thursday, May 27th, welcome in episode 100. Any podcast, this is a big day in the life of any podcast, and we're just giddy to be here with you. Glad that you guys are with us, and make sure that you hang around because we're going to be doing a Facebook Live celebration after the show today. And we're just glad. Dr. Mills, welcome in, sir. Good to see you as always.
Thank you, and happy 100th anniversary for our podcast there. And for those of you watching live at home, you can probably see our cameras here off to, actually it's going to be over here. This is what Bill and I are doing right now while we're getting ready to celebrate our 100th anniversary. We are gathering with some friends and having some snacks and some libations and celebrating episode 100. So it is going to be a celebration, and we'd invite all of you to join us when we kick into Facebook Live. Please, make some comments, ask us some questions. We're going to share a little bit about what we're doing and just be part of our celebration. Thank you for being part of our last 100 episodes. And Bill, thank you for doing this with me. I remember last year when I gave you a call and I said, hey, you know what? This was right after COVID hit. And I said, hey, if we're just going to be sitting around doing nothing for COVID, let's do a podcast. Let's at least do something. Let's do a podcast. And Bill's like, I'm in. Count me in. I'm down. I'm all over it. And we started actually while I was still bouncing around resorts, because when we first moved from California, our plan was to go out of the country for a few months. We were going to go visit my in-laws, and we were going to be out of the country for 3 or 4 months. And then COVID hit. And we didn't really have any hard, fast plans. We were moving to Florida, but we had not gotten a house or anything else. So we bounced around vacation rentals and resorts until we realized that it wasn't going to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve and 2 months to slow the spread. It was going to be, June and July. So in July, we got a place in Palm Beach, settled in Palm Beach, and just part of the history, not even the rest is history. That was just part of the history. And again, when we started this, I was doing this from hotels. I was doing this from our vacation rentals. And if you go back and watch the early episodes, you can see that. So we put a lot of ground under our feet in these last 100 episodes. Bill, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've become more a part of our family, and I mean that, and I know you know that in these past 100 episodes in this past year. And it's been great being able to see you a couple times a week and more.
Yeah, my honor completely. I'm just, it's great having a chance to reconnect. We had gotten to a point where we were letting too much time go between conversations, and this has been terrific with getting that completely out of the way so that we are in touch on a regular basis. And I've absolutely loved it, and getting to know Charisma and being Uncle Bill has been incredibly special for me. And so my honor, sir, and thank you as well for the opportunity. And so I was kind of thinking about today, and, one of the things that comes up a lot with what we do, especially with people that are either new or they're on the outside looking in, and they're kind of interested. There are so many myths out there about real estate investing. And so what about we attack some of those today and just blow them up and pull the curtain back on some of that stuff and let people know that.
I think that's a perfect topic for episode 100. I really do.
Cool.
We, as longtime real estate investors, we've learned a lot. And you know what? Most people, when they go into real estate investing, there's just this, it's almost a stereotype, I guess, that exists that real estate investors have to always be offering less than what the property is being offered at. That they have to be sneaky, and they have to do underhanded things in order to make a profit, and they have to do this and they have to do that, and you can't buy properties at market value and make money on them. There's just so many myths and wrong things about investing in real estate. Honestly, there are so many things that people think about real estate investing. That is what keeps them from getting started in real estate investing. They think they're going to have to be sneaky. They think they're going to have to be slimy. They think they're going to have to always be constantly lowballing somebody in order to get a deal. And they just don't want to do it. They're just not interested in getting started for those reasons alone. What are some of the other myths that you can think of, Bill?
Well, one, it's probably the one that, whether people verbalize it or not, that comes up the most is, man, I don't have the money for it. I just don't have the money for all the down payment. I don't have the money if I'm doing a flip or a rehab, blah, blah, blah. And so they get this idea that it takes a massive amount of cash to become a real estate investor. And there are a few things further from the truth than that. Does not have to be that way at all. One of the things that we teach is, I call it the 5 P's of OPM. Well, OPM stands for other people's money. And the 5 different major methods that you can use to access OPM to be able to do your deals. And you don't have to necessarily have somebody come in as a financial partner. They can come in and simply have a secured note. We talk a lot about hard money. We talk a lot more about private money than anything else, because that is the single largest pool of funding available out there. And it's funding that doesn't matter what your credit score is. It doesn't matter. One of the things that drives me crazy with banks and mortgage companies, and look, I used to own a mortgage company. So I love mortgage companies. I love banks, I love hard money lenders, but banks and mortgage companies specifically like to put a limitation on the number of properties that you have. Well, to me, that's just nuts. However, when you look at private money, it's just the opposite. If you have banks and mortgage companies, a lot of times 4 or 5 is it. They don't want to be involved anything after that. So private money says, oh, wait a minute, you got 30? Well, I'm a lot more comfortable being number 31. Oh, you got 50? Oh, yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable being number 51 than, oh, you've got 5 properties already. I don't know. You probably got more than you can handle. And it's just not the case. So private money, I think, is, for me, always has been, and I teach it, stress it like crazy, is a key. I know we're up on break here. But
different risk assessment models for both is what it boils down to. And when we get back from the break, let's address that, because that's probably one of the biggest ones that we hear all the time. Just the myths about real estate and what you need to actually get started and be a real estate investor. We'll be back in just a second. Once a month, with the exception of December, Bill and I go to markets where we have experience, and we host a real estate buyers event. These are markets that have great return potential for your real estate portfolio. We're going to show you the properties that we buy. We're going to show you where to buy, where not to buy, the strategies to use to make great income from these properties. We're also going to show you resources and individuals here on the ground that you can use to start building your team so that you can repeat this process over and over. The real estate buyers events are designed to put high-performing properties in your portfolio right away. If you're interested in hearing more about the Real Estate Buyers Event, realestatebuyersevent.com. That's realestatebuyersevent.com. Read more about the events, check out the schedule, and register. We'll see you there. A lot of real estate training programs claim that they will make you a millionaire, but how many of them will guarantee it? The Millionaire Blueprint comes with a millionaire guarantee. I guarantee that if you use the strategies and you use the formulas that you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint, you will be a millionaire. I guarantee that with a double your money back guarantee. Whether you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest for absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to start investing and be a millionaire, guaranteed. Now, I can't tell you all about it in this short amount of time, so go to the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's the guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Watch the videos there. Read about the guarantee. Read more about what we offer with the Millionaire Blueprint. Get signed up. I'll see you in Palm Beach. And we're back with segment 2 of episode 100. And we are addressing real estate investing myths. Now, the big one is money. Okay, it really is. And you, as new investors, get lots of conflicting information. You know that it takes money to buy real estate. It takes money to invest in real estate. And then you hear people, gurus, come up and say, you can invest in real estate without any money. You can get real estate without any money. That is a perpetuation of a different myth, okay? Yes, you can invest in real estate without any money of your own. That is absolutely 100% true. But the likelihood of you finding somebody who's going to hand you a deed and title to their property with absolutely no money at all required from you is slim to none. Now, I've had people give me their deeds to their property without me giving them any money. Usually, though, there was a reason for that. There was debt that had to be paid somewhere else, to the bank. There was debt that had to be paid to the county because there were liens on the property, and I actually looked at a few properties like that literally over the weekend. Or there was some other overwhelming debt that they weren't able to handle themselves that made it worthwhile for them to walk away from the property. So yeah, I did not pay the owner any money, but I still had to come out of pocket with money in order to make that property so I wasn't going to lose it. And even let's say that none of those things existed. You still have to transfer title to the property. There are still costs that are going to be involved, including property tax, insurance, and other things for ownership of that property. So even if a relative is generous and gives you a property, you're still going to have costs associated with that property. So you can't have real estate without having some sort of a financial investment. However, it does not have to be your money. You can have somebody else. Bill and I could purchase a property together. I could purchase that property and use Bill's money. Bill, of course, is going to want a return on that money, but that's fine. If I am making more money on the property that I purchased than what I'm going to owe Bill, then I'm still coming out ahead. And those are basic layman's terms, but essentially that's what it boils down to. If money is what's stopping you from getting started in real estate and making money in real estate, that's probably one of the stupidest things to let you not get started in real estate, because the money is out there. Somebody has that money. What I tell people all the time, and you hate to ask relatives for money. And I tell people, don't go ask your friends, don't go ask your relatives for money. You don't want to be in business with them anyway. But absolutely, let every single person you know that you're a real estate investor and you're looking for people who want to invest in real estate with you. And your uncle may not be able to do it, but your uncle may know somebody. Your cousin may not want to do it, but he'll know somebody. So talk to absolutely everybody you know. Let them know what you're doing. You don't want to get into business with friends. You don't want to get in business with family, but you have no problem getting into business with your uncle's boss. You have no problem getting into business with your cousin's neighbor. You have no problem getting into business with your niece's favorite bartender. Okay. So make sure that you are not letting money stop you from getting started in real estate. That's one of the biggest hurdles for people, and is one of the easiest ones to overcome. What do you want to add to that? And we'll go on to the next one.
And never be judgmental about who has money available to invest with you. And I'll give you a quick story on that. I teach a system called the Private Money Vault, and you can I'm sure we'll cover it sometime. You can go back to some of the other shows where we've taught private money here. But one of the things I'm always talking to people about when we start talking about money, I'm going to start with, who do you know? And I was talking to a guy who literally was my yard guy. And so a lot of people, you would look at this guy, and if you judged him based on him being there cutting my grass. And he had a company, he had 2 or 3 guys with him. But you look at him and go, this guy's struggling. This is Texas. This is in the middle of summer. It's 100+ degrees. He's dripping from head to toe. This is not a pleasant job to have. But I'm talking to him. I'm like, who do you know? Because he's like, what do you do, Bill? And I started telling him. And he was like, that's really interesting. And he said, well, I might be interested in something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So as a follow-up question is, so how much money do you think you would be comfortable with starting this conversation? And he said, 75. And I went 75,000. And I really figured he was going to be talking about 7,500 again, because I was judging him and I know better. And he's like, no, 75,000. And I'm like, okay. And so we did a deal. And later on, I was like, how funny. Here's my yard guy that I pay $35 a week, and bam, put up enough funds for me to go get a deal done. And that's scaling your business. That's what you're referring to when you do that. So it allows you to grow as big as you want to grow. Did I make as much on that deal as I would have if I funded it myself in pure profit? No. I look at it as I made more because my money's not tied up. So I'm arbitraging.
Your percentage of return was higher.
Absolutely. So that's the only thing I'd like to add to that. Please don't be judgmental when it comes to somebody else's ability. You don't know where they are. You don't know what their bank account looks like. No matter how well you think you know them, you don't know them that well.
Yeah. And for the most part, there are different factors that come in. But when you're doing your numbers, look at your percentage of return on your own investment. And it may be actually having to consider your time and your effort investment, because you can literally go into, like I said, a deal where it's no money of your own, it's somebody else's. You're managing the deal, but you're still going to get a return for your time, your expertise, everything else. What is your return on that investment? If you're using somebody else's money, you may be getting a much higher return on your investment, even though you're not getting as much money as if you'd staked the entire thing by yourself. However, if you had to have staked the entire thing by yourself, you may not have been able to do that deal. You would have lost that deal. So anything you made from that deal is profit you would not have had you not worked with a money partner. Now, we're up on a break, and I want to cover on our last segment, I want to cover the myth that you have to always lowball offers, and you have to be sneaky, and you have to be deceitful in order to be a successful real estate investor, because that's not the biggest myth, but that is one of the worst. And that is what gives people a really bad impression of real estate investors. So we'll be back and we're going to discuss that. Show 100, by the way. My name's Kevin Mills. I have a real estate training program that is so powerful, I will back it up with a double your money back guarantee that it will make you a millionaire. That's right. Double your money back guarantee that you will be a millionaire if you use what you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint. I call it the Guaranteed Millionaire Blueprint, and you can read more about it and watch more videos at guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Check it out. All the information is there. "11 months out of the year, Bill and I host real estate buyers events in cities like Cleveland, Ohio, where we ourselves invest and see great returns. We show investors the types of strategies we're using, the types of properties we're using. We introduce them to people here on the ground and the resources that they can use to get started right away. Day 4 of this event, we're actually touring properties and making offers on properties. This event was designed to put properties in your portfolio right away, high-performing properties. Read more about the Real Estate Buyers event. Get registered. We'll see you at the next event. realestatebuyersevent.com. We are back with our third segment of our 100th episode on the Investor Guys podcast. Stick around after this segment as we do a Facebook Live celebration. I can see on those monitors there that Bill and I are already getting ready to party and celebrate with some friends. So make sure you join us and let us know that you're there. Now, in this last segment, I wanted to address one of the biggest myths, not the biggest, but one of the ones that gives investors a bad name, because there are people who do this. They should not be out there at all. You don't have to lowball every single offer. You don't have to be sneaky. You don't have to be underhanded. You don't have to figure out who you can get away with not paying for services in order to be a successful, profitable real estate investor. You can absolutely buy properties at asking price. And I'm not talking about people who are asking less than the property as well. I've made full price offers for market values and still had properties that I can cash flow on. Now, I had a conversation over the weekend with a couple of people, and we were looking locally at some properties. And just as in Texas, it's hard, maybe even harder here perhaps, to find rehabs that are going to fit the criteria that you're looking for. The very few that we saw already had offers on. The other ones that were being advertised as investor specials and rehab specials and everything else, the numbers were just not there at all. It was just taglines that they were putting in to try to get people's attention. So I drew their attention to another option. Why not look in a different market where you can make, or different strategy for that matter, where you can make full price offers and still cash flow? And one of the strategies that we can use here in Southern California right now, where we can make full price offers in Orlando, in the Palm Beach area where I am now, in Fort Lauderdale to the south, in Miami to the south, and the Keys, we can make full price offers on those properties and make them vacation properties and still be doing 100 to 150% and more annual return on our investment. That's cash on cash, our 20% down payment, but on a full price asking offer. And this means we don't have to go in. We don't have to find a contractor. We might want to change some paint. That's pretty easy to do, but we don't have to find a contractor to do rehabs. We're ready to literally put this property up on whatever vacation rental site we want to use within a week or two of closing. All we have to do is go in there and get it cleaned up, get it painted the way we want it to look, throw some decals on the wall if it's going to be in Orlando, and we're ready to go. And these are properties that we're buying at asking price that are being offered at market value. Now, some of these we might offer a few $1,000s less so that they are matching the comps in the neighborhood, but this isn't something we're dickering on back and forth. This isn't something that we're wasting our time on. I know a lot of people right now, if they're trying to invest in hot markets like Bill's or like ours, they're spending a lot more time sifting through the MLS looking for a deal that's going to fit their rehab criteria versus just going and finding a property that meets the numbers in a different strategy. We can use the same exact type of thinking in markets like Cleveland, Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, where we can purchase properties that are being sold at asking price and turn around within a week, make them available for Section 8, and we're still going to be cash flowing 50% or greater every single year on our investment.
So when you look at that, and a lot of people say, well, I need to offer 20% or 30% below what they're asking. That's insane in this market. And that's not the formula anyway. And I see new investors doing this all the time. The formula is, you may end up at 20 or 30%, but it's not of what they're asking. It's of the after repaired value. And then you work backwards from there. And so what your goal is, what you're hoping to find, are what we call those golden offers. So when I'm working backwards off the after repaired value, and I take everything out, and I take my profit out, I take my repair budget out, and the number that I've got is real close to the number that they're asking. That's the thing I'm looking for. But when you got a hot market and you go out and you say, well, I'm going to just knock 20% or 30% off, well, good luck, because you're going to spin your wheels till the cows come home, because you're not getting any deals. And if you understand that the profit's still there, like I have people that I talk to that I see at the clubs that are going, yeah, I've had to cut my profit down to 10%. And I'm like, that's because you're simply just doing it wrong. Why in the world would you do that? Have you ever worked for somebody else? And they almost always have. And they go, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so what ballpark, what'd you make? Oh, I made $60,000 a year. Okay, so let's just call it $1,000 a week is what they were paying you. So they came in and said, hey, things are really kind of crazy right now. I want to pay you $600 a week. What would you have said? Well, I would have told them they were crazy. It's absolutely right. And that's the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
The market works right where it is. Run your numbers correctly. Do not give away your profit. If you want to give away your profit, keep the numbers the way they are, then just give your money to charity. But don't give it away. So
too many new investors get stuck in this trap where they think it's either a crapshoot. They have to just keep making as many lowball offers as they can and hope they find someone that's desperate enough that's going to accept that offer. Or they're going to have to accept the fact that no one's going to accept those lowball offers because they're tired of making them and they're tired of getting those looks when they do make them, that they're going to have to just accept less and keep their fingers crossed and hope that things change in the future. If the numbers aren't working for you, then maybe you should be looking at different strategies or looking at different markets to invest in. Here's the thing. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are always going to be the same. Those numbers are going to work someplace. Okay. If they're not working where you are, if they're not working for the strategy that you're looking at, apply them to a different strategy, apply them to a different market. Now, here's one thing that I've learned, and I'm sure Bill will back me up on this. No matter what market you are in, okay, there is a strategy that you can work that is hot. So right now, in Bill and I's market, both of us, okay, rehabs are tight. Rehabs are going to be something that you're going to pull your hair out if you're trying to do rehabs in either of our markets. It doesn't mean that they're not out there, but you got a lot more competition for them now because there's a lot fewer of them. You have home buyers who want to live in these properties who aren't looking at them as a profit situation. They're looking at them as a discount situation. Okay. They're not looking at how much profit am I going to make on this. They're looking at how much less can I buy this house for and get into a house versus having to buy another house and then make this house look the way I want it to look because this is where I'm going to live. So this is your competition. You don't want to be on a retail competition situation. You're going to be able to find, no matter what market you are, a strategy that works. So one example where I am in Southern Florida and in Florida as a whole is vacation properties. Vacation properties make sense. One of the strategies, it's going to require a little deeper pockets, but one of the strategies that works right now that's a great strategy in Bill's market are larger multi-family properties, apartment buildings. Right now, you can get apartment buildings where Bill is for a good deal. They're still market value, but you're still going to cash flow on them. There's not a whole lot of competition right now to be buying those buildings. There will be in the next few years as more people flood into Central Texas. Anything you want to add as we wrap up our crazy? It's not even that long today. Yeah, we're almost on the mark. We're just a little over.
We're ready for the celebration. That's why.
Ready for the celebration. So,
hey, thanks for being with us. Thanks again for 100 episodes. Thank you, Kevin, and
thank you, Bill.
Hang around with us. Join us on Facebook Live. Be part of the celebration.
Yes, and remember, it is all about the numbers and all about getting started. I'm gonna leave one thing, and they're actually celebrating with me today. But over the weekend, we were going over numbers, and the wife of one of the gentlemen who I was talking to was sitting there, going over this as well, and she said, "You know what? You need to stop pulling weeds in the yard and get out there and get some of these properties." And the other gentleman's wife said, "Yeah," he goes, "it boils down to you need to get off your butts and get started." And I couldn't say it better. That is exactly what it requires. And Bill and I have said as much in as many different words, but you need to get started. If you don't get started, you're never going to get to where you're going to get. So much more we could say, but we'll save them for other episodes. Happy 100, and stick around and join the celebration with us.
See you at the celebration.
See you guys soon.